Okay. Alrighty. Okay. I think I finally figured it out, which is great. So now YouTube's working. It was a YouTube glitch, and it just literally wouldn't like change until I reloaded my laptop. So we're now live on YouTube. Hi, hello. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. So it's now working, thank God, because I was losing my mind, and I'm normally a pretty patient person, but this was like driving me nuts, literally, and I wasn't very happy about it. And I know this is a stupid thing to drive somebody nuts, but oh well. Thank you. Okay, let me turn on the news. We do have quite a few updates because I've missed yesterday. Also, for thank you for those of you who were confused as to why I didn't go live yesterday. I literally fell asleep. I fell asleep at 8 p.m. and I can't say that I'm not happy about it because normally it's hard for me to fall asleep and I don't really sleep well. So this was a pretty good thing to happen, to be fair. Okay, let's see. Let's adjust the settings a little bit more. So yeah. Okay. Should be good, right? Not doing the news on TikTok anymore. I am. I am both on TikTok and YouTube. I'm very glad that it's working too. Thank you for coming back. I'm sorry for complaining about the camera for about 25 minutes. I'm glad I figured it out though, so it wasn't for no reason. Okay, let's start with a little bit of a life update. I went to so I don't know how many of you have noticed, I have Invisalign, and I have been trying to straighten my teeth for a very long time. I have it for like over 2 years now. It was originally supposed to be it was supposed to be 9 months. Then the pandemic hit, and my dentist wasn't, it was just like closed. And so it just, I didn't have my aligners, and I had to kind of like, my teeth went back to wherever they were at first. Hi. And so today I went to my dentist, and he was like, "Yay, you're at the end of your Invisalign journey. Are you excited?" And I'm like, "I'm not at the end of my Invisalign journey. My bottom teeth are still are still crazy, and my top teeth are like almost there. So now I have another couple of months of Invisalign that I'm so excited about, because who doesn't like wearing plastic in their mouth for more than 2 years? I usually take it off for streams because it's hard to speak with it, and your S sounds like th and stuff like that. And so for diction reasons, I usually don't wear it when I go live. Invisalign, yeah, Invisalign is a great time. I've only lost mine once. There is this like thing that everybody who has Invisalign tells you to always, yeah, I'm gonna get. I have to come back in a week because like they had to take impressions, and so then they will send new retainers. But it's interesting because like everybody who has Invisalign will always tell you like, oh, please don't forget to bring your Invisalign case and never ever ever put it in a napkin, because you're gonna end up like throwing it out. And you guys know that I forget chargers, I forget everything, so it's cool. So I very often forget my Invisalign case as well. And one time I literally was in an airplane and I put it in a napkin and I threw it out. And I went on a vacation for a week, and I came back and my teeth were moved and I couldn't put in the new, like, because you have to switch them every week. And I had to redo it again. So yes, it's also my fault because I'm horrible at sticking to it. Anywho, we're not going to do all of the news from yesterday because some of them are irrelevant, like the AFU positions and stuff like that is pretty irrelevant because it changes daily. So whatever the news are about that, I'm going to skip, and I'm just going to wait until I'm just going to read the news from today. Also, to weird people who keep coming in and saying like, "Oh, you're attractive," or like, "Oh, you're this," like it's so, I don't like, thank you, I'm flattered, but also inappropriate to, what the hell is horribly attractive? what does horribly attractive even mean? It's like such a stupid thing to say. So is it horrible or is it attractive? Like, what the hell? Also, like, read the room, man. I am also married. Thank you very much. I love see. I love this. Anytime, like, I don't even have to. What was it like? I was telling John about this. I was telling him that anytime I do a stream with a man, especially, and somebody is like, "Ooh, I sense the vibes there." There is like 5 of my followers that follow me who just like immediately started going, "She's married. She's married. She's married," and and it's funny because he was like, "Yeah, that's interesting because people are more interested in like protecting your dignity than I am." I'm like, "It's not about dignity, you idiot. It's about the fact that, like, first off, I'm clearly not interested. Second off, it's very creepy, even if I wasn't married. But also, yes, I'm glad that people who are not you are more interested in protecting my dignity. Like, okay, thank you." But yeah, como va Severodonetsk? Va bene? Uh, yeah, it's about, yeah, it's also like, I don't understand, like, somebody comes onto a stream of like a woman, right? Or a stream that's called Ukraine News, right? And it's a woman doing the stream, and they think that it's like appropriate to objectify me. It's like, I'm not here for you to comment on whether I'm attractive or not. Also, frankly, I don't care for whether anybody thinks whether I'm attractive or not. Like, it's not, it's just really not, like, I don't care, right? And the fact that people think that it's okay to like come in and start objectifying people, it's like, read the room. We're here for news about Ukraine. We're not here for you to drool over a woman online, because clearly if you do that, you can't approach one in person. And I would really suggest for you to rather like go maybe work on that, and maybe be less disgusting, and maybe be less misogynistic, and maybe objectify women less. And then guess what? You're not going to have to be creepy online, and you're not going to have to tell women these things online, because maybe you're going to be able to talk to a woman in real life. How fun is that? Okay, so let's move on from butts and stuff like that, and go ahead and start on the news. North Korea rogue Kim Jong-un backs Russian rogue Putin. Under your leadership, the Russian people bravely overcoming all the challenges and difficulties that happen. Yes, the McDonald's closing was a huge, tremendous difficulty for the nation. Achieve great success in carrying out a just cause to protect the dignity, security, and rights for the development of the country, to which our people express their full support. Kim Jong-un addressed Putin, congratulating the latter on the day of the Russian Federation. Yeah, when a dictator, when the most hated dictator in the world moves on to the second spot, and you become the most hated dictator in the world, and that the second most hated dictator in the world supports you, that really says a lot about you and your nation and your people. Привет, Kharkov. So that's fun. Also, I watched a video the other day that one of my Ukrainian creator friends reposted from another Ukrainian creator. And it was very funny, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, these Russian soldiers didn't know where they were going. They just thought they were going to a training camp in a different country." Why would you be going to a training camp in a different country at which you're at war since 2014? That makes no sense. And then the other argument is like, "Oh, they thought that they were protecting their country from the invaders in a different country." And this was literally how she said it, and I was like, I feel your pain, because what do you mean people were what do you mean that these guys thought that they were going to protect a country from invaders? Why would they protect a country they're at war with from invaders? Literally, like, these excuses are getting so blatantly stupid that I can't even comment on them. It's like, if to this day you have the audacity to somehow justify Russians, I don't know what to tell you. Genuinely, I feel like, I've I've been doing this for 3 months now, and I feel like if you've been watching me for 3 months, or like for a week, or for two, or you've watched more than 5 videos, and you still feel like you need to justify the Russian actions or Russian soldiers or something like that, it's like, what am I even doing? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Just please tell me. Because like, I don't know. I don't know what more can I do. Like, what am I doing wrong? Um, yeah, so total waste of American money. All right. Okay. So, first of all, I'm Ukrainian. Second of all, you know what's a total waste of American money? Partnerships with Russia. You know what's been a total waste of American money? Partnerships with Russia in the past 20 years. You know why we're doing why you think that like America is wasting the money, right? Is because America signed Budapest Memorandum to protect Ukraine, and if they had reacted in 2014 like they had to, under the treaty that they themselves have signed, the protection treaty, under which Ukraine had given up its nuclear arsenal, which was, by the way, the third in the world, third largest in the world, no big deal. You know, then we wouldn't be in this mess, and then America wouldn't have to waste its money on protecting Ukraine. Yeah, but you know, that doesn't take away legal responsibility that America had signed itself onto in 1994 when it signed and promised to protect Ukraine in exchange of Ukraine giving up its nukes. We gave up our nukes, and you know what America didn't do in 2014? Protect us. And you know what would have happened if they did? This wouldn't have. And here's the thing: if you are as miserable of a person that you think that this is a waste of money, then well, I would suggest that you go work on your morals, because I really hope that with that thinking, if you see a child being beaten on the street but it's not your child, you still help the child because you know that it's injustice. And also, you know, if you promised your friend to take care of their kids and then you don't, then that's a problem. And you know, it's funny because yes, sure, there's lots of suffering here, there's lots of suffering in the world. That doesn't mean that helping somebody is a waste of money. Do you see a genocide going on in America? Do you see bombs flying in America? Do you see missiles flying in America? Do you see people living in concentration camps? Do you see America being on the path for World War III within the country internally because some crazy freaking neighbor of ours decided to attack us? You don't, right? Also, you know what's going to be really fun? It's going to be really fun if America doesn't help Ukraine, and if Russia doesn't stop at Ukraine, and if Russia is going to go on to Europe, which is a big threat. And then you know what's going to be really fun for you? It's going to be really fun for you to watch TV and realize that NATO now has to step in because Article 5, and that literally the entire world is now involved in World War III. That's going to be really fun. And I'm going to see if you think it's a waste of money, because Ukrainian people today are dying in order for World War III to not happen full scale. So maybe think about that when you make stupid comments like that, because then it's going to be a large waste of money to protect your life when America is literally boots on the ground and involved in the war with Russia. It's going to be fun, right? Oh, Ukraine would have surrendered and fewer people would die? Have you seen what happened in the cities that Russian people captured? People are living in fucking concentration camps. I mean it, like literally mean it. You know, they're Ukrainian people that have filtration cards, and without these filtration cards, they can't step outside because they're shot dead. That's what happens in the cities that didn't surrender to Russia, that Russia leveled to the fucking ground. Yeah, so maybe fewer people would have died? No, more people would have died. You know why? Because Russians would have been literally shooting us for living in those cities, which is what they do in Kherson, which is what they do in Mariupol, which is what they do everywhere. The entire war wouldn't have happened. Like, this is such an uninformed, such an ignorant opinion that I wish I didn't have to even address it. But hey, what if you go and look up Mariupol today? What if you go and look up Kherson today? And what if you go and look up Donbass in the last 8 years? You know what happens to people who live there? If they have tattoos that say Ukraine on them, those tattoos are being cut out with their skin. With their literal skin. You think if Ukraine would have surrendered, that would have been great? Think twice. There is a literal Nazi invasion by Russia onto Ukraine, and you think that if we would have surrendered, it would have been better? For who? For you? So you don't have to sit here and be like, my taxes are going onto this unjust cause. You know on how many stupid unjust causes your taxes are going to because of Republicans? Millions. You're really going to complain here about America helping a country stand for its grounds? You like genuinely, like, the level of your ignorance and stupidity is so upsetting that it's not even funny. Well, why don't I buy you a one-way ticket to Mariupol? Why don't I give you a Ukrainian passport and we'll see how you are going to live there under Russia and in a city that's surrendered? Let's see how that goes for you, dear. Because I really wonder how you would like that. I don't think you would. If Ukraine would have surrendered, less people would have died. Are you crazy? Are you genuinely crazy? Like, I'm sorry for my language. Normally, I hold myself much better, but it's like, I am so tired of this garbage. It's garbage. It's genuinely garbage. Fewer people would have died. Так, я українка, я зі Львова. I'm so tired of these people who are not in Ukraine, have never been in Ukraine, don't even bother finding out what's going on. And they're like, yeah, less people would have died if Ukraine surrendered. I'm for peace. Are you for peace? Because I feel like you are for Nazis destroying people, because that's what you are saying when you say that it would have been better if Ukraine surrendered. Both sides love violence. Yeah, we love violence so much that we literally didn't participate in it ever. We love violence so much that we've given our lives in order to protect our people from the invaders. We love violence. That's all about, that's literally what we are as Ukrainians. We love violence so much. We love dying. We do. You know, we love our tattoos being cut out with our skin. We love not being able to see our parents. We love not being able to see our kids. We love all of that. That is specifically why we're defending our territory. Because we love that so much. My God, people are ignorant these days. Like, I'm sorry, you know, like, I normally don't use, like, I try not to use curse words, but it's like, at this point, some people are literally morons. And I'm going to stand by these words. Okay. Russia fired at Azot and destroyed a dozen houses in the Luhansk region. You know, this is the violence we love so much, right? The head of the Luhansk Army, Serhiy Haidai, on the situation in the region on Sunday morning. Azot plant in Severodonetsk, where the armed forces of Ukraine are located, was fired upon, hit on the territory of the transport workshop. Fuel and lubricants caught on fire. 10 houses were destroyed in Zolote, Vrubovka, 2 in Nikolaevka, and 4 in Lysychansk, as well as a shopping center and a shop. The Russian Federation stormed Severodonetsk and Toshkovka. Let me do this. Scholz, Macron, and Draghi will arrive in Kyiv. Chancellor Olaf Scholz, together with French President Emmanuel Macron and Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi, are going to visit Ukraine ahead of the G7 summit at the end of June. This is reported by Bild, citing Jasna, Ukrainka. Yeah, I'm happy that that reads to you. I'm happy that that's translatable, and I'm happy that you see it. You know? Because I wouldn't want to be anything else. И ясно ты русский или русская. And I'm very, very sorry for you, because yeah, that's upsetting, and that's really sore, and that's really, like, it's pitiful, to be honest, at this point in these circumstances. And the fact that you come to a live of a Ukrainian person and you're like, oh, of course you say this, you're Ukrainian. Like, yeah, of course I say that I'm Ukrainian. I care about my country and I'm protecting it. And you know what you're doing? You're literally shitting on it and on me. And you know what you could be doing is you could be making your country better, rather than literally trying to take down another country that has never done anything to you. In fact, you've only ever done things to us. So yeah, I'm Ukrainian. I'm glad it reads. And yeah, I'm proud of it. So shut it and bye. Про какой акцент? Про какой акцент? Какая вам разница, какой у меня акцент? Какая? Агрессия зашкаливает, потому что задолбали, честное слово. Какая разница, откуда я, какая разница, какой у меня акцент, какая разница, как я разговариваю. Я читаю новости про Украину. Я отвечаю троллям на какие-то дебильные идиотизмы. Если интересно, украинка ли я, можно просто кликнуть на мой профайл, и там реально тупо написано «I'm Ukrainian». Вот и все. Не задавайте глупых вопросов, не будет глупых ответов. Okay, this is reported by Bild, citing sources in the government of France and Ukraine. Paris and Berlin have been negotiating a joint visit to Kyiv for some time. The publication reports that it was France's idea to involve the head of the Italian government as a third party. According to Reuters, information about Scholz's visit to Ukraine was not confirmed by the Speaker of German government. I wish you defeat in the aggressive war against Ukraine. With these words, Latvian Foreign Minister Edgars Rinkevics congratulated the citizens of the occupying country on the Day of Russia. He wished the Russians to give up their imperial ambitions and build a modern, democratic, and legal state in the future. Artillery duel of the armed forces of Ukraine with the invaders from the Russian Federation. The city of Lysychansk, Luhansk region, June 11th, 2022. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky formed the Lysychansk City Military Administration and appointed Valery Shibik as its head. Also, I'm going to, thank you, obrigado. So I am going to show you a video, but before I'm going to show you a video, I'm going to talk about something that is super important. I'm going to be doing a fundraiser in the coming days. So before I do that fundraiser, I want to tell you a little story. So my dad has a water company, and he has drivers who drive that water around the city and bring it to people. Basically, and you can buy it with like your own, with your own, instead of paying for branding and instead of paying for bottles, you can like bring your own bottle and fill the water from like a big water tank car, right? So my dad has lots of drivers working for him. And there was this one guy who was working for my dad, and he served in the ATO army. So the 2014 invasion of Donetsk, the frontline army was ATO. He served there for lots of years, and then he came back and he went to Lviv and he was looking for a job. And so he worked with my dad for 2 years, and he worked as a driver for my dad. He's a military combat driver. And so then when the first draft came by, he volunteered to go back to the front lines, and he volunteered to go back into service. And he came back a couple of days ago to Lviv to kind of like, because, you're allowed to leave for a couple of days sometimes. And so he did. And so he was talking to my dad, and basically he drives a medical vehicle where you can perform surgeries on injured soldiers. And then they drive that vehicle at night. And that vehicle cannot use lights because then it's going to be discovered by the Russian army and potentially shelled. So they need night vision gear for that particular vehicle because, again, it's a very important medical vehicle. It saves lives and stuff like that. And they drive it mostly at night. And at night, they can't see anything because they can't use lights. And they need a night vision meter or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but basically like in order for you to be able to see at night. And that gear, I think, is $3,500 to $4,000 depending where you buy it. And well, my dad can put up a little bit of his own money, but he doesn't have $3,500 to $4,000. Neither do I. Neither does anyone in Ukraine, to be fair, right now. And so I was wondering if you guys would be interested. I am waiting for. No, they're not goggles. They are NVG. It's a thing that you put in the car. And so basically, I'm getting those post stamps from my mom, the Russian Worship Go F Yourself post stamps, and I was gonna see if I could do if I could do a fundraiser, and basically for every $1,000 or for every $500 that we raise, I would do a raffle for one of the stamps because there's 6 on the sheet. Would you guys be interested in doing a fundraiser like that? Because I know that the one with that fundraisers that kind of have something being raffled go over better. So would you guys be interested in a fundraiser like that? And would you be interested um, in helping raise money for the night vision? Whatever it's called. I'm not sure what it's called in English. Okay, yay. Awesome. So we'll do it the same way that we did it before, where, every $5 is an entry. Amazing. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate that you're always always supportive and always helping Ukraine, and really I am so grateful and um so yeah, just very grateful for your existence. And hi Peter, and for the fact that you are always so supportive of Ukraine. I will create a GoFundMe page. I will create a GoFundMe page. So it's not a fund. It's my dad's employee who's now serving in the army, and I will work on getting all the information from my dad so I can write like a timeline out for you, and where they serve. I don't know if I can give you like the actual name of the brigade where they serve. I can give you the location, like a like a state location, and I can give you more information. But I will try to be as detailed as possible without giving up their details. And yeah, and hopefully we can help them out. And I will do a GoFundMe or something like that for $1,795 to $10,000, depends on a model. So my dad's friend fundraised for another ambulance like that, and he bought the night vision thing, and it was my dad doesn't remember, it was either 3.5 or 4.5 thousand. So that man who is in the United States, and he knows where to buy that, and that thing worked, and he's going to give me like the details on the model, and obviously I'm going to like write everything out so what we're fundraising for and who we're fundraising for. And I'm going to again write out as many details as humanly possible without like revealing which brigade this is going to, and specifically the location, because that's not good. But yes. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to scroll a little bit because a Ukrainian missile destroyed a Russian helicopter carrying 17 Russian military personnel, including Captain Alexander Alexandrov. This is how the Russians describe what happened. Sasha served with the rank of captain at the airfield. Fighters were preparing to fly. Sinny, what are you eating? Hey, Sin. Sinya. Hi, Scooter. Welcome back. Sasha served with the rank of captain at the airfield. Fighters were preparing to fly. During the transfer, they flew in several helicopters. A rocket hit the helicopter in which Sasha was flying. All 17 people died. Well, this is just a horror and mockery of people in Mariupol. A point for performing hygiene procedures has been established. From 11 to 4 p.m., people can wash their faces. The occupiers still failed to establish water supply. So this is what Mariupol today looks like. Zolochevsky district, Kharkiv region. After the Russian missile hit, a huge crater was left. The scale is huge, as is the cost of the rocket itself. For example, the launch of one Caliber type cruise missile costs Russia $6.5 million. And this is called How to Bury Millions of Dollars. Are they still watering plants to show how nice that one block is? I don't know. See, like the news from Mariupol are very few and far between because, well, there is not enough communication with people who live there because, well, you've seen Mariupol. And yes, Mariupol is under quarantine right now because there is a cholera outbreak in Mariupol. Russian world arrived in Bashtanka, Mykolaiv. And this is what it looks like. Funny thing is, I think now it's actually on YouTube. You can see, I think that funnily on YouTube now, the quality of images is much better. I don't know if I'm right. You can confirm or deny those of you who are on YouTube, but I feel like it looks much better. Um, in the Chernihiv region, graduates make photo shoots against the backdrop of the ruins. Graduation album of 11th grade students this year looks like this. They stole their childhood in the graduation party. The Novgorod-Siversk Secondary School number 2 said in a statement. Also, photo shoots against the background of destroyed buildings were made by graduates of 3 classes of Chernihiv schools. Oh, sorry. This is the next one. The launch of 4 Russian caliber missiles in the territory of Ukraine. These 4 missiles hit the city of Chortkiv in the Ternopil region yesterday. The impact injured 22 people, including a child. Hi. How do I am Slava? Several German-made Rheinmetallmarder infantry fighting vehicles that were decommissioned by the Bundeswehr have already been upgraded and can be immediately delivered to Ukraine. Oh, can they be? Because, every single time that there is something coming from Germany, somehow miraculously it gets lost in the transport. Meanwhile, Germany blocked Spain's plans to transfer Leopard 2A4 tanks to Ukraine. Of course. Russia threatens Poland with a nuclear strike. The idea of transferring nuclear weapons to Ukraine endangers the Polish people, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. They endanger the Polish people who are being drawn into the nuclear redistribution of the world, said Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova. Okay. Well, see, because here's the thing. There are a couple of countries saying that Ukraine should regain its nuclear weapons and nuclear power because basically the only reason we gave up our nukes was because of the Budapest Memorandum, under which our territorial integrity was supposed to be protected by Russia as well. And so, since they did not adhere to the memorandum, now it means that we can have nukes. But I personally don't want Ukraine to have nukes, neither does Ukraine need nukes. It's just funny because Russia is like, oh, it threatens you and it threatens you. It's like, well, we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for you. And also, who are you to speak against nukes? Um, Ukraine has developed routes from grain export through Poland and Romania. These routes are not ideal, but we're doing our best to develop them, said Deputy Foreign Minister Dmytro Senek. Russian invaders fired at 2 districts in the Dnipropetrovsk region. A woman was unalived. The head of the local RMA, Valentin Rizichenko. The 109th day of the war, Zelensky publishes a new selection of photos and signs them as follows. It is on the battlefield in Ukraine. It has decided what rules the world will live by, and what will be possible and what will be impossible. It is necessary to save the world from going back to the times when everything was decided on the basis of the so-called right of force, and individuals and any of their ideas, like many nations, simply did not matter. Oh. Also, I don't know if you guys have heard this song, but I apparently have slept on it without even realizing. So there is this song. I don't know if you guys have heard it. You probably have. Apparently, it was like all over TikTok. I missed it. It's a Ukrainian song, and it's by Max Barskih, which is like a Ukrainian. He's like a Ukrainian musician, and he's very much poppy. Like he's very pop. He's not my thing because, well, I don't know. His song style is very much not me. But since the beginning of the invasion, he's really stepped up to Ukraine and to everything. And so he did this song, and I didn't even realize that his voice could go like that. But I kind of really like it. And apparently, I mean, it's not new as it turns out, but to me, it is new. Don't fuck with Ukraine. Yeah, but so I don't like. First of all, I can't believe that this is his voice because his voice is very much. It's like. Yeah, I don't know how I missed it. Okay, I literally do not know how I missed it. Maybe that's because I just don't listen to Max Barskih, and maybe I just like had no idea. But what like surprises me is that what surprises me is that his voice, like on the "Don't Fuck with Ukraine," is so low, and like this is his normal voice, okay, which is like he's kind of like a very like mellow kind of poppy dude. So this is very strange to me, but this is a great song. I literally found it and I was like, wow, Max. This is the same guy.
Посміхнись, мною все буде добре. Твоя любов допоможе. Твій погляд лікує, ти все, що бракує, це прикро сумую.
Anyways, the moment of Ukrainian music. Yeah, no, he has a really good voice, but it's just like it was just not his genre at all, and it was so strange. Okay, for the third time, Russians send stolen rolled metal from Mariupol port, while in the city itself they're celebrating the Day of Russia. Max Barskih. Так, я зараз в США. Max, M-A-X, B-A-R-S-K-I-H. Max Barskih. It's on Spotify. This is it, the Day of Russia, the Day of Killers and Martyrs. Andrushenko, advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, signed the video. The price of Ukrainian bread is measured by the lives of farmers. They're real heroes who work in the fields under fire or where the occupiers have left behind many mines and unexploded ordnance. There is nothing sacred for Russians. They're destroying all the resources on which the fate of millions of people around the world depends. Mariupol, the city where Russian invaders brought pain, devastation, and death. Just compare on the first video how the city looked before and how it looks after. On the other two videos, only after. Mariupol. The Kherson region will be liberated gradually so as not to risk people, Vitaly Kim, head of the Mykolaiv RMA, told La Republika. According to him, the Ukrainian army cannot afford the Russian tactics with big jerks across open terrain that lead to nothing. If we did that, we would lose a lot of people. We have a different concept of war and life. The Russians kill their soldiers, we try to limit casualties. They shoot, we rely on military tactics, Kim added. There was an explosion near the Interior Ministry building in Malitopol. According to them, the device with a capacity of 700, 800 grams in TAT equivalent was placed in a trash bin near the building. 2 people were injured. It should be noted that Melitopol is temporarily occupied by the Russian authorities. This video shows fire at Uglegorsk thermal power plant in Svetlodarsk, Donetsk region. Donetsk Telegram channels say that the Russian army was responsible for the attack on the thermal power plant. The administration building was destroyed due to the fire. Sorry, Maxim Sergeyevich. My English is bad. British soldier was unalived in battles for Severodonetsk. A former British soldier, Jordan Gatley, joined the AFU in March. On June 10th, his parents received the news. Their son died in the fighting for Severodonetsk. He had been shot, according to Father Dean Gatley. His fellow soldiers said they loved him as much as we did because he made a difference in more than one person's life, not only fighting but also training the Ukrainian military. Я не знаю, что он имел в виду. Turkish President Erdogan has announced new talks with Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin next week. Should we get a room for every single leader who just loves talking to Vladimir Putin? Because clearly it's making such a difference, the talking to Vladimir Putin. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, much love. Oh, these are so funny. But so yeah, I'm just like kind of wondering, should we get Macron and Putin a room? Should we then get Erdogan and Putin a room, and then Scholz and Putin a room, and then maybe four of them have a little orgy? Because it seems like they really want to, they love talking to each other. Their relationship is just prospering and growing. It's like it's making so much difference. Yes, sure. What question would you like to ask? What question would you like to ask? There is Q&A here. You can ask it over on YouTube and I can pin it. And if you have YouTube and you want to go over on YouTube, you can ask it here and I can pin it to the screen and answer it. Is Turkey on Russia's side or Ukraine's? Well, we would like to know that as well, to be fair, because it looks like they're just well, it doesn't look like they're playing a smart game. Thank you. So I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what you're asking. If somebody would be kind enough to translate, I could answer in English. If somebody who speaks Spanish could translate the Q&A, then I could answer that. But basically, Turkey is trying to play both games. They're trying to save their own face in the face of the world, but they're also trying to get as much money from Russia as possible because Turkey is really dependent on Russian tourism, and that's like most of their GDP. Then could this war be avoided? No. This war could not have been avoided unless Ukrainians just decided that they want to live under a communism, like totalitarian regime, and under torture and in concentration camps, because Russia would have always attacked. Russia would have always wanted territory, and the only way this war could have been avoided is if Ukraine literally surrendered and let our people die without fighting for our lives. So no, I guess technically, yes, the war could have been avoided by Ukraine surrendering its territory completely, but then Russia would have taken over everything. But it could not have been avoided by negotiation. It could not have been avoided by anything else. It could have been avoided by Ukraine surrendering all of its territory, literally. And then we wouldn't have had the war, but then we would have been living in concentration camps. Привет, Mykolaiv. So I guess if we want to speak technically, yes. If we want to speak realistically, no. Hackers congratulated Russia on its day and hacked 100 websites with Russian propaganda. Instead of false articles, the truth. Photos of destroyed houses, murdered children and adults. Facts that it was Russia that brought all the horrors to Ukraine. I hope that answered your question. Russia is destroying Ukraine's cultural heritage, collected some of the churches and museums that Russia destroyed or damaged during the full-scale war. As previously stated, the Minister of Culture and Information Policy, Alexander Tkachenko, since February 24th, Russia has destroyed 370 monuments of Ukrainian cultural heritage. Almost half are churches of different confessions. In the Kharkiv region, 90 destructions were recorded, 70 in the Kyiv region, and in the Donetsk region, 62. Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the participants of the charity evening organized by CORE, headed by Sean Penn. Thank you to everyone who gathered at the CORE charity evening to help Ukraine, and also to Sean Penn, who from the first day of the war was personally in Kyiv and Ukraine and saw with his own eyes the evil called full-scale Russian invasion.
This person needs no introduction in terms of their charm and humor.
Mm-hmm.
But they're here to talk about what another great friend of mine called the difference between the comfortable and the vital. So here comes what I know we all believe is the vital and the greatest kind of heroic spirit we've ever experienced.
Ladies and gentlemen, CORE and all the participants of the charity union, 107 days ago, Russia launched a full-scale war against us. All of you have heard about the horrors that Ukraine is going through. Tens of thousands of explosions and shots. Hundreds of thousands wounded and killed. Millions who have lost their homes. All of this is not a long line for a horror film. All of this is our reality. All of you have seen photos from Ukraine, peaceful cities, and villages wiped off the face of the earth. All of this is not the scenery of the blockbuster about the apocalypse. All of this is our reality. All of you have seen footage from Ukraine. Cruise missiles and bombs that raze schools, hospitals, theaters, museums, entire streets and neighborhoods to the ground. It's not VFX, not computer graphics. All of this is our reality. But definitely, we will rebuild Ukraine, streets and neighborhoods, peaceful cities and villages. We will heal bodies from wounds and souls from losses. All of this is not a synopsis of a fiction film. All of this is our reality and our future. All of this. And all of you can help us in this. During World War II, when all the metal was needed at the front line, the Oscar statue was made of plaster. It can fairly be said that this is a symbolic gesture that doesn't drastically affect the course of the war. But we cannot claim that the World War have defeated Nazism without a piece of metal. No, we do not know for sure. That is why we know that any help is valuable and important. I thank everyone who has come here today for the sake of this help for Ukraine. Mr. Champagne, who has been personally in Kiev and Ukraine since the first day of the war and has seen firsthand this evil, which is called Russian full-scale aggression. You were ready to melt your Oscar in protest against the lack of support of Ukraine. I hope that this will not be necessary. Other metal must melt. Weapons of barbarians, which kill civilians, women, the elderly, and small children, must melt. The aggressor's equipment, its tanks, planes, ships, rockets, and all other iron that brings evil must melt. We have been resisting it for 107 days in a row. We can stop it together. Support Ukraine because Ukraine supports the whole world. Fight for Ukraine because Ukraine is fighting for the whole world, for democracy, for freedom, for life. Slava Ukraine!
Ladies and gentlemen, Tor can't do this without you. Okay, so, and now I want to answer the what do you think about Turkey negotiating without Ukraine? I'm going to answer that in very simple steps. let's say somebody's trying to steal your apartment and your neighbor is negotiating with a random person without you. How do you feel about that? The apartment is under your name. You've purchased the apartment. It's your apartment. You have all the documents to prove that it's your apartment. And your neighbor is negotiating without you about who the apartment should go to and what should be done about this invasion of the apartment. What do you feel about that? That's the same way as I feel about Turkey negotiating without Ukraine. Nobody should be negotiating what happens to Ukraine and what happens and what Russia does without Ukraine being present in these negotiations. It's bullshit. I think that Turkey is overstepping a huge boundary. I also think that Turkey is playing two fields, and I think that Turkey thinks of itself as this like peacekeeper without actually doing anything for the peace. And Turkey is making tremendous amount of money on Ukraine, on Russia. Sorry, Turkey is making tremendous amounts of money on Russian tourists. It's one of not many countries to date that still allows them to come through. Their GDP is dependent tremendously on Russian tourists as well. And I think that in any sort of negotiating someone's fate and negotiating something about someone without them present is a crime. It is literally a crime. Imagine you had I'll give you another analogy. Imagine you had a bank account and somebody completely unrelated to you that just decided that they want to talk about your bank account and decide what happens to your bank account with somebody who stole money from your bank account. And you are not present. You are not doing anything. It's a random person who just wants to help out and a thief negotiating together. And that random person is also making money off the thief who's trying to steal money from your bank account. You're not present in the negotiations. It's just them figuring out what to do with your bank account. That's what I think. Okay. A video has emerged of the burning of Severodonetsk Azot, where about 500 civilians, including 40 children, are sheltering from the enemy. At the same time, according to the head of the Luhansk army, Serhiy Haidai, there is no threat of bordering off our troops in the Luhansk region or surrounding. Sin, what you doing? What am I unsympathetic to? I'm so unsympathetic to what? To a genocide that's happening to people who are committing genocide in my country? Is that what I'm not sympathetic to? I wonder why. I wonder why I would not be sympathetic to people who are destroying my country. What am I not sympathetic to? Please give me a single reason of what I should be sympathetic to and what I'm not sympathetic to. I would love to know. Yeah. What am I not sympathetic to and what should I be sympathetic to? Should I be sympathetic to Russians who are not doing anything to stop this? Should I be sympathetic to Russians who every time they miserably protest, first of all, я разговариваю на русском, большое спасибо, не хочу, но разговариваю. Я так само розмовляю українською мовою. Yes, I am Ukrainian. I also speak English fluently. I also speak German. I also speak Italian. I also speak Polish. What's your point? I can't be Ukrainian and speak other languages? But yeah, what am I supposed to be sympathetic to? Am I supposed to be sympathetic to Russians who don't protest because, they put us into... Also, I wanted to tell you guys, to all of the crowd who is like, Russians are scared of protesting because they're being jailed. You know what Russians did protest en masse? They protested the closing of McDonald's. You know what Russians didn't protest en masse? The war in Ukraine. Weird, right? So it's not scary to protest the closing of McDonald's in a country where protests are forbidden. because it's a dictatorship. But it is scary to protest the war in Ukraine, right? I mean, in both cases, they were thrown into Автовазики and they were put to like detained, right? But you know, for some reason, they had enough gall and bravery to go protest the fact that McDonald's is leaving, but they can't protest the war because, you know, they're being thrown into Автовазики. And you know, every time Russians do protest the war in Ukraine, you know what they say? They feel like they're doing us a favor. So it's like, what am I supposed to be sympathetic to? I'm sorry, you're not doing me a favor. We're going to get you out of our country anyway. You're not doing any of us a favor. You should be protesting in order for your better future. There was also like a comment that I received a couple of days ago, and I want to just respectfully address it. One of the creators that I know said Boris Nemtsov lost his life trying to stop the invasion of Donbass and annexation of Crimea. Boris Nemtsov was one of Russian leaders, literally the only Russian leader actually that I have ever respected. Right? He was a very smart man. He was killed presumably by the Kremlin, because who else would have killed him? And he was killed in 2015. Now, Boris Nemtsov was against the invasion of Donbass, and Boris Nemtsov was against the annexation of Crimea. However, he did not die because of that. He died because he was trying to make Russia free, and he was opposition in Russia, like the real opposition in Russia, and that's what he was killed for. His main points were not to stop the invasion of Donbass or to prevent the annexation of Crimea. That is not what he died for, nor was it his main mission. So one of the things that really pisses me off is that Russian creators love to talk about their leaders that are doing things for them as a favor to Ukraine somehow. Like, yes, Boris Nemtsov was against these things as any normal person should be, but like, please don't mix the two. Those are not mixable things. Being against the invasion and being against annexation of Crimea does not warrant you dying for these reasons, or doesn't make it your main mission, which it's fine. It's good that he was for free Russia. It's good that he was for new Russia. That's what it should be. But like, stop using Boris Nemtsov as an example of like, oh, this man did so much for Ukraine. Like, no, he wasn't doing anything for Ukraine. He was doing things for Russia. But at the same time, he as a normal person was against the invasion of Ukraine. But like, by no means he mentioned Ukraine and his protests like for a minute as like a supporting cause. Oh, and also this government is doing this horrible stuff. Like, please don't give me the like Boris Nemtsov died trying to protect Ukraine. No, Boris Nemtsov died trying to change Russia, which is still a noble cause, but like not the same thing. Boris Nemtsov did not die for Ukraine. Boris Nemtsov died for Russia, which is fine. It's okay. That's what I mean, like, this makes sense. It's his country, and that's what he was trying to change. But like, why do Russians feel like Boris Nemtsov was doing us a favor, or like they did us a favor by having Boris Nemtsov? Hi, Natalia. Yes, sure, he did, but he didn't die for Ukraine. Like, I just like, here's the thing, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to say this respectfully, right? But like, I just, like, it's not the same. Boris Nemtsov was largely pro-Russian, and he did a lot of stuff for Russia. And like, I respect the hell out of that man, Привет. Like, he was amazing. And it's so sad to me that like, well, obviously Kremlin would have taken him down because they wouldn't have, like, he was literally probably the only leader at the time. And now like he's like the only leader who had any chance of changing Russia. Like, I don't see any other ones right now that have nearly as much impact or nearly as much like support or nearly as much like healthy ideas genuinely, because he wasn't only good for Russia, he was also good for like Russia's external politics, because he wasn't like a Russian nationalist who wanted to change the way Putin does things. Like, Navalny, like, I don't know, my personal opinion of Navalny is like ниже плинтуса. But at the same time, like, he was amazing, and I agree with that. I think he's great, and I think I'm so upset about the fact that he was murdered. But he wasn't murdered trying to protect Ukraine. Like, he did speak out against the invasion of Ukraine. He did speak out against the annexation of Crimea, but that was not his main point. Like that's just like one thing that I want to say is that a lot of Russians, and I'm not like pointing a finger at you, it was an example, right? Love to say that like, oh, but Boris Nemtsov did this for Ukraine, Boris Nemtsov did that for Ukraine, but it's like at the end of the day, any normal person should be against this invasion, and any normal person should be speaking out against it. But also, like, this was not his main point. This was not his main reason. This was not his main. This was not his main like agenda, and that's okay because his main agenda should be Russia because he's a Russian politician and he's trying to change Russia. But at the same time, like, it just feels a little bit like a favor to Ukrainians that like we had this one leader who was like doing these things for Ukraine. Like, yes, he did speak about Ukraine as supporting points. And like, yeah, it was one of the reasons why he was against the government, because this was just like a, you know, like overfilling the cup of all of the other garbage that Russia has done. But at the same time, like not the same, not the same. Anyways, I really love Boris Nemtsov. I'm really sad that Boris Nemtsov is not here because it seems like he was the only reasonable, straight thinking person that Russia has ever seen in like the modern history. And I think that he was great. And I'm really, really sorry that had happened to him because he was genuinely like, I think that he is, it's really sad that he's gone. Anyways, okay. As of today, we have a 2,450 kilometer wide front, of which 1,105 kilometers are under active combat operations. Over the past month, the number of graves in the Starokrymsky cemetery near Russian-occupied Mariupol has increased. A comparison of satellite images from May and June shows that many new areas with graves have been added to the cemetery. Чи я розмовляю українською? Так, я розмовляю українською. Привіт. Доброго ранку. Вам доброго ранку чи доброї ночі, навіть вас дуже пізно. Чого ви не спите? The new address of the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. The key tactical goal of the invaders has not changed. They're pressing in Severodonetsk. There are very fierce battles for literally every meter, as well as pressing in the direction of Lysychansk, Bakhmut, Slavyansk. The Russian army is trying to deploy reserve forces in the Donbass, but what reserves can they have now? It seems that they will try to throw into battle poorly trained conscripts and those who were gathered by covert mobilization. And this means only one thing: Russia can cross the border of 40,000 of its own troops in June. In no other war in many decades have they lost so much. So we do still have 100 updates to go. I am, however, going to take a break. I need to do my laundry. And my laundromat closes in 2 hours, and laundry normally takes about an hour and 40 minutes. Hi, Yam. If you go over to YouTube, you will see the camera quality. It's really good. But yeah, I'm going to... Oh, привіт! Круто! Я в Нью-Йорку. So I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to go do some laundry. Oh, I won't believe this. What am I not going to believe? Laundry shouldn't be neglected. Yes, mine is very neglected, to be honest, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, really? That's crazy. Wait, what? You received another keychain? That's insane. They must have put your address on all of them. That's crazy. Wait, you're probably going to get another one. Because there were 5 total so far that were sent out. I think you're going to get another one. Oh my God, that's so funny. I mean, it's funny. It's not funny, but it's also funny. But it's also not, I don't know. You're probably going to end up receiving like 6 of them. I don't even know. That's too funny. That's incredibly funny. Oh my God. Well, okay. Yes, I'm going to go. I'm going to message you about this. That's kind of funny, but also I'm so sorry that you're a keychain hub. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yum. Thank you, and thank you, thank you as well. Oh my God, so many little paper cranes. I love those so much. They're so pretty. Thank you. I will see you guys at around 11. So that means that some of the Ukrainian people who rise up early might also catch me on the stream, and I will talk to you soon. I just need to go do my laundry. No, no worries. See you later. Bye, guys. Bye, bye. Oh, sorry. I keep like staring. I'm so not used to the fact that this is here. But yeah, okay. Bye, guys. I will see you later as well. Thank you for sticking to YouTube. I really appreciate it. Now, end stream.